World Heavyweight Championship, Fatal 4-Way. It's no longer Del Rio versus Sheamus. It's Del Rio versus Sheamus versus Orton versus Jericho as a means to get Orton and Jericho on the card because they have
Versus
no
Tony
feuds.
Mango versus Chris Dace versus Michael Burham versus Braden Mayhew and versus my mum.
Right. Your mom's going to win.
Yeah, of course. New world champion, dude.
Uh, as I put on the website, I smell something fishy with this. I think that the whole reason for this is a punishment for Sheamus.
I agree.
It seems like they might be punishing him for the whole Daniel Bryan feud and how Bryan was more over than he was in it. I think that they took that not as Daniel Bryan being over, but Sheamus not being over enough to be the one cheered. And now they're booking him to kind of look weak, especially against Randy Orton. I mean, sure, he wins on SmackDown this week, but then Orton lays him out afterward. And it's kind of been all talk about how Sheamus is going to lose the title and Sheamus isn't really looking dominant in any kind of way. Now, of course, you have to show that in some way to kind of make people want to get the pay-per-view. But at the same time, it just doesn't seem right that they would add this Fatal 4-Way thing in there. I think that they did that to try to boost the star power because they don't think that Sheamus is necessarily a star, quote unquote, as they did a couple months ago, where they thought everybody would go ballistic about the 18 seconds and be, you know, bowing
It
down to
was
Sheamus.
bullshit. They fucked Sheamus over. WWE's fucking fault. It's not his fault.
Right.
The guy's done everything he can with the mediocre shit they've given him, and him versus Bryan has been pretty good. It's been a breath of fresh air, but they can't keep doing that feud again and again and again. So what else are they going to do with it? They have to literally get Sheamus into a four-man match to spice it up a bit. Will Sheamus leave with the title? No. I say Jericho.
Huh. Why Jericho?
I believe they're going to give him that as a sort of his way, his swan song, so to speak. He'll probably keep it on for about a month before losing it to Orton and running off with Fozzy.
See, I'm going with a little bit of I could see myself outthinking myself in this guess, but I think Sheamus is going to retain just because I think he's going to lose. Now, let me explain that real quick. I think that this is set up in a way where Sheamus could lose the match, but not necessarily be the one pinned. And they could have maybe Orton pin Del Rio and start a feud between Orton and Del Rio or something like that and keep Sheamus looking strong. But because I'm thinking that, I'm also thinking that this might be a last minute change up where they go, you know what, let's just keep the title on Sheamus while we're at it and have instead Sheamus get the pin on somebody like Del Rio after somebody else does the work. Maybe Orton does an RKO on Del Rio. Sheamus brogue kicks Orton real quick, and Sheamus pins Del Rio or something like that. That way Orton doesn't look bad. Sheamus doesn't look great, but still keeps the title. Maybe drops it next month on No Way Out, and then they can move on to something else for Money in the Bank is after that. You've got a bunch of people you can throw together in the Money in the Bank matches, like Del Rio and Sheamus and all that if they don't have the titles. But definitely, I'm expecting Sheamus to lose the title before SummerSlam, and
I think he's losing it over the limit. I think he's going to lose the title then. I don't see him keeping it any longer.
If he loses it at this pay-per-view, I would not be surprised, but I think I might be overthinking it or something like that. I don't know. Officially, I'm going to say I think Sheamus retains, but that's really a 50-50 guess for me.
Very much so is a 50-50 guess.
Right, and it's not a 75% Sheamus losing like what WWE is talking about. I think this is literally, does Sheamus win or does Sheamus drop the title, as opposed to does Del Rio win the title, does Jericho win the title, or does Orton win the title? I think it's more so about punishing Sheamus than rewarding any of the other guys.
No, I agree totally.
So look out for that one, everybody. If Sheamus does lose here, especially if he gets pinned, he might be in the doghouse or something like that. Next part, we will go to the WWE Championship, and then eventually the Laurinaitis versus Cena match.